When I started here, and that was all the way back in 2001, I was a member of our Midwest Field Services group, and it was basically me and two other guys, an old 1994 F-350 with a probe that was super slow. We drove everywhere across the Midwest, drilling, sampling, and doing whatever was needed.
We just kept grinding every day, and I remember one day looking and realized we had 25 employees and a number of company vehicles, and you just kind of blink and realize that all just happened. And I'd like to say we had a great business plan and we thought it out well, but we just kept grinding and pushing and building a business without really even realizing what we were doing. If you've ever seen Steve Martin in The Jerk when he sees his name in the white pages, that was how we felt when we got our first truck. Like, I have arrived. We have a company truck. After that first truck and that first employee and that third and fourth and fifth client, I don't know that we saw a vision, but we were getting traction. And we just kept moving and moving, and here we are.
The PM difference is really about the quality of our work and really wanting to work with our clients and partners to make sure that we have that quality and that we're helping them get to their finish line.
Our mission is to make the complex simple, the difficult possible, and to bring confidence to our clients. We accomplish this through our teamwork, our technical knowledge, and the focus we bring to our customers.
We understand the why of every project, which helps us to tailor-make solutions. We don't turn every transaction into a science project. Our goal is to identify and manage risk so that our clients can make informed risk decisions, gets them to the closing table.
Revitalization for me is one of the fun parts of doing this job. I love being able to point at a property and say, I worked on that, I know the history of that. I may drive my husband a little bit crazy because whenever we go, especially to Detroit, I'll say, oh, and that property was this, and so on and so forth. And then I also like to see the transformation. I like to see these properties reused. I like to see properties that sat vacant for 20 or 30 years be put back into reuse.
One of my personal success stories is a project that we had worked on for several years. The developer was struggling to obtain the correct financing for the project. We ended up working with the city of Detroit, with the developer, with our team, with the architects involved. We were able to get them one of the biggest grants that we had awarded to a project through that particular program. I mean, it was the difference between that development happening versus it continuing to sit as a brownfield. Driving by that space now, it feels pretty amazing. It's very much an accomplishment. It's great to see what it's done for the neighborhood. They now have this beautiful development with businesses that they can utilize and different aspects that just weren't there before.
From a standpoint of community impact, all you need to do is drive around, whether that's in Southeast Michigan, whether that's in Central Tennessee, whether that's elsewhere. I tell my family that everywhere I go, I get deja vu because we've been there. One of the most satisfying and gratifying things that really is brought to the table from me is that we're able to go through projects and project sites that were once something, whether that be an old gas station, an old vacant lot, whatever it happens to be, and now sits this beautiful housing development, this beautiful commercial building, or in some instances, very large now industrial redevelopments. We've really facilitated that change, that development, that improvement for the community, and it's visible, and it's going to be visible long after I'm gone.
Having long-term impact and really being able to see in the built environment the improvements that are made. We're not making the improvements, but our clients are making the improvements, and we're getting them the pieces that they need to be able to get that done. In December of 2021, we closed a recapitalization with Keystone Capital Partners. It was a long process to go through to pick the right partner, but we're really confident that we did with Keystone. We worked for a long time trying to find the right people to want to partner with them and have that investment. They're really going to help us grow. They're masters at acquisitions. They have a really great team working for them, and they also are just the best, friendliest people that we've ever worked with.
We at Keystone have a long history of partnering with and investing in businesses in technical services, the built environment, building services. So we started initially with proactive interest in environmental services, environmental consulting, and risk mediation. Through that process, we had an opportunity to be introduced to Pete and Mike and the team at PM, and we were instantly drawn to their rich 30-year legacy of providing high quality services to their clients, not just in Michigan, but throughout the Southeast as well. We really think that there's an opportunity for this to be sort of a premier destination, not only for our clients to come and get environmental services, but hopefully a premier destination for people to build out their professional career with environmental services. We could not be more excited by the prospect of partnering with Pynchon and PM to really execute on this vision going forward.
One of the things in the timeline of being successful in selling these kind of new services that most people weren't familiar with was the acquisition of our first piece of commercial real estate, which ended up being our Lansing office. It was an old office building that in the 20s and 30s used to be a service station. It had 6 underground storage tanks in the ground. At the time, it was in a bad loan position from the old S&L crisis in the late 80s. We ended up negotiating a good price with the local developer to buy the property for a very low price because the bank didn't want to take it back with these tanks in the ground. So we used the fund to remove the tanks, clean it up, and that was home for, I think, over 15 years. Fast forward to the office we're in now in Berkeley. This was an old machine tool and die shop for 50 years. Was completely abandoned for probably 4 or 5. We used brownfield economic incentives to redevelop this property. It is now our largest office and employs 35 people. I'd love to have people in our conference room and say, hey, you're in a brownfield. We practice what we preach.
I most genuinely appreciate the people that we have at PM and really want to thank each and every one of them for the teamwork that they bring to the table and making it a great place to work.
I think we have the best people working for PM. We wouldn't be where we are without the quality, the dedication, and the hard work of all of our staff, top to bottom.
What I find really gratifying is watching our professionals develop and seeing the talents that they lend to the projects that we have. We couldn't do it without them.
I love to see people grow in their careers. I love to see what happens in their lives, and I love to share in their professional experiences and joy.
In closing, this is not my 30th anniversary. This is not Pete's 30th anniversary. This is the company, the culture's 30th anniversary. We'd never have a 30th anniversary unless it was 2 guys in a pickup truck if we didn't have the people to make us what we are today.